Have you ever gone several days without being able to go to the bathroom normally? Maybe 3, 5, or even 7 days without a bowel movement. When that happens, it's not just a temporary discomfort. In reality, your intestines begin to accumulate waste that can affect your energy levels, your sleep, your overall well-being, and even your mood. If lately you've been feeling bloated, gassy, heavy in the abdomen, or experiencing that uncomfortable sensation of wanting to go to the bathroom but not being able to do so easily, stay with me. Today I'm going to explain what may be going wrong in your body and, more importantly, how you can help your intestines regain their natural rhythm with practical solutions that may improve this situation in as little as 24 to 48 hours, without pills, without painful methods, and without strange tricks. And let me tell you something in advance. Solution number 7 is usually the one that surprises people the most, because in many cases it makes a remarkable difference. I am Dr. Gabriel Mena, and over the years I have seen many people in my practice who believed constipation was simply a normal part of getting older. I especially remember a 62-year-old patient who came to see me convinced that his slow digestion was unavoidable. He had gone several days without a bowel movement and constantly felt bloated and exhausted. However, after correcting a few very simple habits that I'm going to explain today, his intestines began functioning much better in a short period of time. This shows that very often small changes applied in the right way can completely transform how your body feels. If your intestines have become sluggish, it is not by chance. There are usually very clear reasons. In modern life, we spend far too many hours sitting, we eat in a hurry, we often choose foods that are not ideal, we drink water incorrectly, and on top of that, when we go to the bathroom, we usually adopt a posture that makes it harder for the intestines to move naturally. Little by little, all of this begins to affect intestinal transit. The result is the common constipation that so many people experience. Medically speaking, constipation is defined as having fewer than 3 bowel movements per week. But even if you go to the bathroom every day, constipation may still be present if you have to strain a lot, if the stool comes out very dry, hard, or in small pellets, or if you constantly feel that you have not completely emptied your bowels. There is something that very few people know, and I want to mention it because it can help you a lot. A small change in the way you breathe while sitting on the toilet can make bowel movements significantly easier. In a moment, I will explain exactly how to do it. You need to understand something very important. Constipation is not just a minor inconvenience. When the intestines do not empty properly, the intestinal wall can become inflamed, and this can end up affecting the entire body. Waste that remains inside the intestines for too long releases substances that may re-enter the bloodstream. As a result, many people begin to experience constant fatigue, irritability, headaches, a feeling of heaviness, and even skin problems such as small breakouts or spots. All of this can be connected to an intestine that is not functioning properly. In addition, when constipation persists for a long time, more serious complications may appear. People can develop anal fissures, hemorrhoids, inflammation of diverticula, and in some cases even an increased risk of more serious conditions such as colon cancer. That is why it is so important to pay attention to these warning signs and take action early. The good news is that the intestines have an incredible capacity to recover when we provide the right conditions. It does not matter if you are 50, 60, or 70 years old. With the correct habits, the digestive system can improve significantly. The methods I am going to share with you are based on scientific knowledge and clinical experience, and they may help you notice changes within 1 or 2 days. In a moment, we will review 8 practical solutions and also some very common mistakes that often cause constipation. But first, I want to tell you something with respect and appreciation. Many people who follow this channel do not receive our new videos simply because their notification bell is not activated. If this type of information is useful to you, I invite you to activate the notification bell, give this video a like, and share it with someone who might also benefit from it. I would also love to get to know you a little better. You can write your name, your city, and your age in the comments. In that way, we can build a closer community and continue learning together. Now let's begin with the solutions that can help improve constipation. The first one has to do with something that seems very simple but actually has an interesting scientific explanation: the posture you use when going to the bathroom. Many times the problem is not that your intestines are slow, but that you sit in a way that makes evacuation more difficult. When you sit on the toilet as if you were sitting in a chair, the muscles surrounding the rectum become tense. This creates an angle that makes it harder for stool to pass through, similar to bending a hose through which water should flow. In that position, having a bowel movement becomes much more difficult and you end up having to strain. Constant straining not only worsens constipation but can also contribute to hemorrhoids, irritation, and even bleeding. On the other hand, when the body adopts a squatting position, the muscle surrounding the rectum relaxes and the canal opens more easily. This allows bowel movements to occur much more naturally. So what can you do if you have a standard Western toilet at home? The solution is very simple. Place a small stool about 6 to 8 inches high under your feet while sitting on the toilet. By raising your knees, your body adopts a position much closer to the natural squatting posture, which makes it easier for the intestines to move and can help bowel movements happen faster and more comfortably. When constipation becomes frequent, many people believe the only solution is to push harder in the bathroom. In reality, that often makes things worse. The key is to help the intestines work naturally. That is why, in addition to correcting your posture as I explained earlier, there is another very important detail that almost no one talks about: breathing. When you are sitting on the toilet, avoid straining forcefully. Instead, take slow, deep breaths. Inhale calmly, and as you exhale, allow your abdomen to relax and let the intestines do their job. This breathing technique helps the pelvic floor muscles relax and makes bowel movements easier. Repeat this calm breathing several times. Many people discover that simply correcting their posture and breathing significantly improves the problem. Now let's move on to the second solution, which involves a natural herbal infusion that is well known among people who care about digestive health. When someone experiences constipation, they often turn to strong laxative teas, such as those containing senna. These beverages stimulate the intestines very aggressively. They may work in the moment, but over time they can cause irritation, inflammation, and even dependency. In other words, the intestines become accustomed to them and eventually require stronger stimulation to function. Instead, there is a much gentler and more body-friendly alternative: fennel tea. Fennel contains a natural compound called anethole, which helps relax the digestive muscles rather than forcing the intestines to contract. This encourages a more natural bowel movement, with less discomfort and less abdominal bloating. Preparing it is very simple. All you need is 1 tablespoon of fennel seeds in a cup of boiling water, about 250 milliliters. Let it steep for around 10 minutes. Then drink it warm and without sugar. 2 or 3 cups per day are usually enough. Many patients who had suffered from gas and bloating for years have told me that this infusion brought them digestive relief for the first time in a long time. I remember a 67-year-old patient who came to my office feeling very frustrated because her abdomen felt bloated almost every day. After adjusting a few habits and adding fennel tea to her routine, within a few weeks her digestion became much calmer. These are simple changes, but they can make a remarkable difference. Let's move on to solution number 3, one of the oldest yet most effective habits: drinking warm water on an empty stomach. In the morning, before breakfast or before consuming anything else, drink 1 or 2 large glasses of warm or room temperature water. When the stomach receives that amount of water while empty, it activates a natural signal that stimulates intestinal movement. It is as if you are telling your digestive system that the day has begun and it is time to start working. Many people feel the urge to go to the bathroom about 20 to 30 minutes after drinking this water. If you want to enhance the effect even more, you can add the juice of half a lemon. It is a simple habit that can help regulate bowel movements. Now we come to solution number 4, choosing the right fruit to support intestinal health. There are several fruits that are beneficial for digestion, such as papaya or pears. However, according to various nutritional studies, one fruit that has shown particularly good results for improving intestinal transit is kiwi. Kiwi contains a natural enzyme that helps digestion and promotes intestinal movement. That is why many specialists recommend eating 2 kiwis per day, preferably in the morning or in the afternoon. Something many people do not know is that kiwi skin is also edible and contains a good amount of fiber. If you can tolerate it, wash the fruit thoroughly and eat it together with the skin. Even people who have diverticula are often able to eat kiwi without any problem. If the taste feels too acidic, you can combine it with half a banana that is not overly ripe, or add a pinch of cinnamon. This softens the flavor while still providing digestive benefits. Solution number 5 is a classic when it comes to intestinal care: prunes. But the important thing is to consume them the right way. Prunes contain two very valuable components for intestinal transit: fiber and sorbitol. Both help soften and moisten the stool, making it easier to eliminate. The best way to consume them is simple. At night, place 5 prunes in a glass of water and let them soak overnight. The next morning, on an empty stomach, eat the prunes and then gently warm the soaking water and drink it. However, it is important not to overdo it. Eating too many prunes may cause diarrhea. It is best to start with 3 or 4 and see how your body responds. Now let's move on to solution number 6, which involves something essential for digestive health: the intestinal microbiota. Inside your intestines live billions of beneficial bacteria. This entire ecosystem is what we call the microbiota. When these bacteria are balanced, they help maintain healthy digestion. But when this balance is disrupted, problems such as constipation, bloating, intestinal inflammation, and many other discomforts may appear. Several factors can disturb this balance. One of them is frequent antibiotic use, especially when taken without proper medical supervision. Stress, excessive alcohol consumption, high sugar intake, and the regular use of artificial sweeteners found in many processed foods can also affect these beneficial bacteria. Even a diet low in fiber can negatively impact them. To protect your microbiota, there are 2 types of foods you should include in your diet. The first group is probiotics. These foods contain beneficial bacteria that help restore intestinal balance. Examples include plain unsweetened yogurt, kefir, and fermented foods such as sauerkraut. In addition to probiotics, there is another group of foods that is also essential for proper intestinal function: prebiotics. Prebiotics are, simply put, the food that nourishes the beneficial bacteria living in your intestines. When these bacteria receive the right nutrients, they can multiply, strengthen, and help your digestion work far more efficiently. Some of the foods richest in prebiotics include raw garlic, onions, oats, brown rice, green bananas, asparagus, and dark leafy vegetables. All of these directly nourish your intestinal microbiota. To give you a practical idea, you could start your day with a simple but highly beneficial breakfast for your gut. For example, natural yogurt or Greek yogurt with slices of banana, a little oatmeal, and chia seeds. This combination feeds beneficial bacteria while also providing fiber that supports regular bowel movements. At lunchtime, a fresh salad that includes garlic and onions can be a great option. I also frequently recommend that my patients include dark leafy vegetables in most of their meals. Spinach, chard, kale, or any dark green leaf can provide nutrients that support intestinal balance. I remember a 63-year-old patient who came to my office complaining of constant abdominal heaviness and long-standing constipation. When we reviewed his diet, he was barely consuming any prebiotic foods. After adding oats to his breakfast, green vegetables to his meals, and some fermented foods, within a few weeks he noticed significant improvements. His digestion became lighter and his bowel movements began to normalize. Now let's talk about solution number 7, which is often overlooked: the correct way to drink water. Many people increase their fiber intake thinking that will be enough to solve constipation. But there is something very important you should know. Fiber without enough water does not work properly. In fact, it can even worsen the problem. The body needs approximately 30 to 35 milliliters of water for each kilogram of body weight. In general terms, most adults require between 2 and 3 liters of water per day. However, what matters even more than the total amount is how that water is distributed throughout the day. Ideally, you should drink water gradually, in small amounts during the day. Avoid drinking large quantities all at once. Also try to consume most of your water before 5 in the afternoon. This reduces the likelihood of waking up at night to go to the bathroom and helps you enjoy better rest. There is also a natural drink that can help stimulate intestinal function. It is a simple green smoothie. All you need is water, a little celery, kale leaves, a small piece of fresh ginger, and an apple with its skin. Place all these ingredients in a blender, mix them well, and drink it without straining. 1 glass per day can provide fiber, antioxidants, and natural compounds that help the intestines work more actively. Now let's move on to solution number 8, something that may seem simple but has a powerful effect on digestive health: moving your body. The intestines are also muscles, and like any muscle in the body, when they are not used enough, they tend to become slower and less efficient. That is why one of the best things you can do to fight constipation is to stay physically active. You do not need intense workouts or hours at the gym. Something as simple as walking for 15 to 20 minutes a day can make a huge difference. Even taking a short walk after meals helps stimulate the natural movement of the intestines. You can also do some gentle exercises in the morning. 10 to 15 light squats combined with simple stretches can activate the abdominal area. Gentle waist twists, for example, can be very helpful for stimulating intestinal activity. The key is not extreme exercise, but simply moving a little more each day. In fact, in my clinical experience, I have seen that about 90% of constipation cases improve significantly when people adopt these simple habits. However, it is important to say something very clearly. Although these methods are supported by scientific evidence and help most people, there is a small percentage of cases where constipation may have another underlying cause. Some medical conditions can lead to persistent constipation. One example is hypothyroidism. When the thyroid gland functions slowly, intestinal transit may also slow down. Another possibility is irritable bowel syndrome in its constipation-dominant form. This digestive condition may cause periods of constipation, abdominal bloating, and sometimes alternating episodes of diarrhea. Certain medications can also affect intestinal function. Some antidepressants, certain antacids containing aluminum used for reflux, medications for high blood pressure, and certain pain relievers may cause constipation as a side effect. In less common cases, there could also be a polyp or tumor in the intestine that obstructs the passage of stool. For that reason, if the problem continues despite applying all these recommendations, it is best to consult a gastroenterology specialist to determine the exact cause. I want you to remember something very important. There is always a solution. The key step is identifying what is causing your constipation and addressing the root of the problem. Before saying goodbye, I want to sincerely thank you for staying with me until the end of this video and for taking these minutes to care for your health. If you found this information helpful, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and share this video with your family and friends. Many times someone close to you may be experiencing the same problem and may not yet know these simple solutions. I would also love for you to participate. You can leave a comment telling us whether any of these recommendations have helped you, or if you know someone who struggles with constipation or abdominal bloating. Reading your experiences helps us build a supportive community focused on better health. And before we close, I want to take a moment for something meaningful. To thank God for life, for each day we wake up, and for the opportunity to learn how to take better care of our bodies. Having access to this knowledge is also a blessing that can help us live with greater well-being and dignity. Here on Dr. Gabriel Mena's channel, we are truly happy to accompany you on your journey toward a healthier life, with simple yet powerful habits that can make a real difference. Remember that every day we share a new video with clear, practical advice designed to help you improve your digestive health and your overall well-being. So tomorrow I will be waiting for you here again so we can continue learning together. Thank you for being here, for taking care of yourself, and for being part of this community. I'll see you in the next video. Take good care of yourself.